All right, well, welcome everybody. This is our first Monday night meeting, which I think is going to work out pretty well. Yeah, Janet's cheering us on because now she can be on, which is good. And actually, a lot of people have said it's better. I think one person it was harder, but I think overall it was good. So tonight we're doing element 21, which is, do you need to supplement? Hey, Daniela and Gary. So the Dr. Anderson writes about supplements, which I found fascinating because when I was certified 5 years ago as a coach, now the certification has changed a little, but when I was certified, one of the questions was, did you need a multivitamin while you were on the program? And I wrote, sure, yes. And it was one of the, I only got a couple of answers wrong, and that was one of them. So, so I thought that was interesting. So I've always come from a place of, well, because the fuelings have amazing nutrition. Well, there he is, the hardworking man. He's back.
Hello.
He's been gone all day cleaning carpets. Um, so I always thought don't need any additional, nutrition because you're getting everything you need. So it was interesting to study this because it was really kind of enlightening that you're still living. That's good.
Yes,
All right.
it's because
So
of all the supplements I'm taking.
all the supplements in those fuelings. All right. So for those of you that have a book, it's on page 423. And I'm going to just tell you, I'm going to kind of show you the graph because it's going to give you a sense of where Dr. Anderson's coming from in terms of supplements. Okay. So I don't know if you can see. Can you all see this graph? Okay. So the line that goes down, the orangey red line that goes down, right, represents the lifeline of those who remain passive in their daily insults and attacks of our obesogenic world. Okay, those are the people that aren't getting up and taking the walk. Those are the people that are still eating the high processed foods, right? And the way high on the sugars. And really are living a lifestyle of disease. That's what happens is as you age and you're living that lifestyle, that's what that graph represents, is that your health is basically declining. Okay. It says optimal health quickly becomes a state of non-sickness. They're overweight, have a poor diet, and are in a state of flabby, weak muscles, insomnia, overstress, and a higher state of inflammation, which, the other week we talked about inflammation, right? Medications may bring about some limited improvement by decreasing the symptoms, but these folks never really regain their health. I think when I read that, it made my heart ache because it tells me there are so many people living like that and really going to the doctor for extra medications. And it's not to say that some medications are necessary, but what he's talking about are the medications people are taking for conditions that are due to their habits of disease versus habits of health. Does that make sense? Right? Okay. All right. So, kind of where he wants to come from is just as you mature, you can actually evolve your health to be good. It does not have to be that red line that goes down. So that other line, this one that goes across the top, which you all are on, the way he describes that is Dr. A's health plan. So what he's doing, so it's not just what you're eating, it's not just what's on the scale, right? We talk about a lot of things. We talk about motion, we talk about exercise, we talk about stress, about sleeping, all these things. This is everything that kind of goes towards habits of health versus habits of disease, right? So here's an interesting fact that you may or may not know. 55% of all Americans take prescription medications for chronic health problems. 55%. That's a pretty high percentage. So these are things like blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol. Yeah. And of those people, on average, they take 4 medications. So it's not just one medication. So, and what I want to share with you is we've done hundreds and hundreds of health assessments. We've spoken to a lot of people over these 5 years. And I would say more times than not, there is a substantial amount of medications that they are on. So these numbers are not skewed. I mean, what Dr. Anderson's talking about, in fact, I almost feel like it may be,
He's being generous.
yeah, maybe he's even being generous, so it was written a couple of years ago, so maybe it's even changed. So basically, when you're on that red line going
I don't
down,
know
you're
how
on
to
a
do
losing
this, dude.
battle. Okay, it's a losing battle. Where you guys are going is not. That is, you are maximizing what you're supposed to be doing, right? So here's the thing. If you are on a place where, yeah, wow, Gary's mom, 15 medications. Wow. Yeah, that is
Oh,
not
wow.
unusual, but
Right.
that's not unusual. Yeah. So this is where Dr. Anderson's going with this. Do you want medication or nutrients? So what he's pointing out is, okay, what is medication versus
Nutrition.
nutrition? So,
Yeah.
so, and up to this point, basically being on the 5 and 1, some of you are in transition now. You're just going basically to 3 and 3, but you're still eating really well, right? So what you've done up to this point is you've basically let your body heal by giving it the right nutrition. And we see this all the time because we have clients that literally can be on the program. I'm not kidding you. We had, well, like my brother, for instance, on the program 2 weeks, was already going off his medications, and he was on 8 medications, 4 for blood pressure, 4 for diabetes. He is now down to only 1 medication for blood pressure. He went off of 4 diabetes medications. How did he do it? And he didn't even start exercising, which I'm still after him for. But he changed his eating, right? And that was a huge impact on his health, all right? So when you're practicing these habits of health that you all are doing, not sure if you realize what's really happening in your body. But what's happening in your body is you're actually removing toxins from your internal and external exposure. It's removing, so it's removing the stuff that you don't want in there, that doesn't help you. And we all know sugar, what sugar does. Sugar really does lead to a lot of bad things. One in particular, cancer.
Yeah.
You know, I know I hate to say that because we all like our ice cream or whatever we like, but it really is not good. It's really not good for us. So what do? What's your next step? You've done the 5 and 1. You've had all this great nutrition with your fuelings. Then you go on to Whole Foods, but are you getting enough nutrition? Because really the food industry is not our friend. We know that. There that I mean, I don't know if you've all seen it. It's all over Facebook, but they just came out with an artificial meat. Did you see that?
Oh,
What did they some kind of did you see that, Janet? There's some kind of crazy,
Chicken.
yeah,
It's
it's
like
chicken. We don't
they
know what
make
it's
it from
made of.
cells.
Made from
Yeah.
It's
cells.
made from cells of the animal, whatever it is, whether it's beef, chicken, or whatever. I heard it
Yeah.
was chicken,
Yeah.
but they take
So you
it
just-
from the cells and then grow it in some lab somewhere, and it comes out meat.
Ew.
That's
Well,
what
yeah,
I
that's
said.
pretty much been the feeling. Most people are like, "Ugh." Anyways, be watching in the grocery store
Ooh.
so you don't pick up the wrong thing. So the thing is, okay, so we're going to Whole Foods. You may still be supplementing with fuelings. Maybe you aren't. That's okay. If you are, it's great, great nutrition. If not, that's okay too. So, but you want to make sure as we're aging, and we're all getting older, right? I mean, some of you are a lot younger than us, but even so, you want to make sure you're getting the right nutrition. So the big question is, how do you know, and are you? Right? How do you know, and are you? So what you need to really live your best life for your longevity, right? The longevity of your life is really the right vitamins, minerals, and some other supplements that you need. Okay, there's other things that you need. And you can't always get it in your diet. I mean, I feel confident with the 5-in-1 because it is amazingly dense nutrition. I mean, it is top of class. There's nothing out there that has the type of protein, vitamins, minerals, probiotics, everything that our fuelings have. Okay. There just isn't. But you're not always going to be on those. So then how do you make sure you're getting what you need? Right. So this is what we know. Medications are problematic, right? What do? They interrupt the body's functions, actually, and they cause a lot of secondary issues. Have you ever watched the commercials for pharmaceuticals?
it's a nice way to say side effects.
Side effects.
Right.
I'm
If
like,
you die while taking this pill, stop taking it.
okay, so I'm going to tell you something that I wasn't supposed to tell you this, but I'm going to tell it to you. One of the side effects of one of the diabetes medications that my brother was on was incontinence. And he was in fear that he was going to have to live with that for the rest of his life. He called me up the second week he was on program and he said, "It's a miracle. I don't have this problem anymore." What? And he had gone to the doctors. The doctors had given him another medication for that, which wasn't working. But what had happened was when he was 2 weeks on the program, he started to go off of the diabetes medications. Come to find out, that is what was the diabetes medications was causing incontinence. So the thing is, when the doctors prescribe these medications, and I know sometimes you really do need them, so I'm not going to, always consult your physician, but some of the side effects are I don't want to say they're worse than the disease, but they're bad.
How serious? They're as serious.
They're as serious. They're not good for quality of life. So meds, they have their use, but creating health, it does not come from medication. This was the big revelation, just being able to understand that. So when people go and they get medications to get better, that might help the symptoms and it might cure what's going on possibly. But if it's a long-term thing based on your lifestyle, it will not create health. it might mask the symptoms, but it's not going to create health. So they have their use, but if you really want to create health, you need to do the habits of health, because those are the things that are going to give you the life you really, really want. So what are nutrients and what are these supplements? They're the great facilitator. They're the ones that give that. These are the things that give you what your body needs. And I'd like to say that our foods do it, but they don't completely do it. Although if you're conscious about what you're eating, absolutely helps. Absolutely helps. So what is it they recommend? And this was interesting to me because I do a multivitamin, and I've always, knock on wood, been healthy most of my life.
Mhm.
I don't think you even do a multivitamin, do you?
I don't.
No, he doesn't, but we're going to change that. Anyway,
I guess we're changing it.
so and multivitamins are great, but maybe you need something more than that. Has anybody thought about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Lori, what is it that you have gone, and do you take something other than a multivitamin?
I don't take a multivitamin. I am taking, I mean, my nutrition is different now, so I'm getting a lot of nutrients. But the one thing in the diet that I'm following now, this way of eating, is it's usually low on B12. So now I've added that. I also found out that it can be a little low in selenium, but one Brazil nut a day will take care of that. So I have my little jar of Brazil nut pills, and I take one a day. Yeah.
It's amazing that when God
Yeah.
created these different foods, that the nutrition in them is phenomenal. So it doesn't
Yeah.
have to
He
be from a
created
pill
it
form.
perfectly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfectly, perfectly. So Dr. Anderson talks about omega 3s and
Yeah.
how important they are. And where do we get omega 3s from? I mean, it can come from, a big source of it is a fatty fish. So I don't know how many of you love salmon, but yep, I like salmon too. It's so good for you.
I get
So good
mine
for
from
you.
flax.
There, yes, and you can get it from flax, but you can also get it from a supplement. So you can do a fish oil supplement. Okay, so that's something to think about.
The good thing about those is you burp up fish taste and it feels like you ate some. So
Oh,
that's
terrible.
that's what's good about those. I just thought I would share.
I don't listen to him. All right. All right. Another thing is,
Timothy chews those.
Ooh,
ooh.
he's a brave man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So there's also certain vitamins, minerals, amino acids, right? You need a certain amount of fiber. You need a certain amount of probiotics. So you want to say, how much? Do I need them all? Here's the thing. We're not all the same. So I really highly recommend, and this comes from Dr. Anderson too, is that you do get blood work done with your physician and you find out exactly what you might need. Okay. But these are absolutely areas that you want to make sure you look at with them, which is fiber, any kind of vitamin, like Lori was saying, she does B12?
12. Yeah.
Yep, B12s. All right. So we
Collagen is
want
a
to
really important thing.
Go ahead, Lisa, what?
As you get older, you lose your ability to produce collagen. And so by
Yeah.
the time you're, I think, 60, you're down to 50% or less. So collagen
Mhm.
supplements are a good thing for your skin and your bones.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Nancy,
Yes.
instead of going to a regular MD, you might want to look at a naturopath, because a regular MD, they're not too big on quote supplements. They would rather prescribe a pill because they get a kickback for prescribing that pill, or pills. So I have found that going to a naturopath, they are more likely to recommend supplements based on your blood work.
Hmm.
And so that's what I found.
That's good, Janet.
Yeah.
That's good.
And
That's good.
oftentimes chiropractors, good whole
Yes.
chiropractors do pretty good job of looking at the natural ways of making you healthy. So
Right.
we can appreciate those guys too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put it out there.
No, that's good, Janet. It's for sure. It's true.
Yeah, I think whenever it came to losing weight or just kind of my general health with my physician, they would always say things like, you need to lose some weight. And you'd be like, you're not telling me anything I don't know. I mean,
Right.
but they never had really a good solution for it. And the thing is, it wasn't like, huh?
They're not even educated themselves on nutrition or weight loss. So yeah, they're not the
It's a
expert.
mystery. Yeah. And
Yeah.
here's the thing, it's not we all know this. If it was just a black and white thing where you just said, yeah, I'm just going to eat this, this, and this, but that having a problem with your weight or having unhealthy weight is connected not only what you eat, it is so in your head. Yeah. It's so I feel like it's even spiritual, emotional, and physical. So if you don't address all those things, it's like a medication. You can't, it's like a Band-Aid then. It's not going to, that's why I think I was such a big yo-yo dieter, right? I would think it was just about what I ate, but it wasn't. I had a lot of bad habits, just bad habits. I mean, I remember years ago going to Weight Watchers meetings, and then we'd go out for ice cream after the Weight Watchers meeting. Well, that was really productive. I mean, talk about bad habits. So anyway, that's, to me, that's why Optavia is so comprehensive. And that's why we tell you guys, do not treat this like a diet. If you treat it like a diet, you're going to have the same problem. You have got to use all four parts. Talk to your coach. Be part of the community. Learn these things we're talking about on Monday nights. And use the fuelings. They will get you to where you want to go fast. And they will do it in a way that your health will thrive. You are not, in fact, one of the things you'll notice if you look at the before and after pictures that come up on Making the Change, or ones we put up of clients or people we know, don't they look great when they're done losing the weight? They look great because they got the right nutrition. Okay, and that's huge. So, all right, so say you can't get to the doctor yet, can't get that blood work done, not quite sure, what maybe you specifically need, but there are things you can do now to help your health. One thing is to have a fatty fish once a week. And I know we've got some anti-fish people, right? We got some anti-fish. I know that happens all the time. Whenever we do health assessments, we say, is there anything that you don't like? No, we don't like fish. Yeah. So, but you can go ahead and do a fish oil. And it actually is an oil that they put out. It's all natural. I think you can get it like at Natural Grocers or one of those that isn't fishy when you burp. So, you're missing out. I mean, if you like that, so be it. But okay, here's another thing you can do. Eat 3 to 6 walnuts a day. Now, don't eat 3 handfuls. All right. This is a problem with some people. But even if you have to put them in a baggie, eat 3 to 6. Take them like like you would pills. Okay. I can't take more than
Yeah.
this many pills. So
When you have a feeling, have one.
yes, when you have a fueling, have a
Have a walnut.
walnut. All right. Because that's really good for you.
Bake it in the brownie. Woo.
There you go. Bake it in the brownie.
Put it in with those brownies.
Now, these are habit of health brownies. Okay. And he does say a multivitamin, take a multivitamin, which I actually did throughout the plan, even though I learned later, oh, you don't have to. But he says, take a multivitamin, but make sure it is high in B complex, which is something Lori talked about earlier. So B complex is important. Okay. And I thought this was interesting, and this is for people who are not on the 5-in-1, who have already transitioned, but you do want to eat red fruit of some kind, or if you're on 5-in-1, a red veggie, whether it's tomato, pepper, I love red peppers, as they have what's called lycopene,
Yeah.
which actually, have you guys heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
Lycopene. Okay. So all it is it's an antioxidant that helps prevent cardiovascular disease as well as some types of cancer.
Yes. Does he talk about the olive oil for men for prostate cancer?
You know what, in fact, I was going to just talk about that next, Lori. You were just one step ahead of me. But
Yeah.
what I want to say is I picked, certain things out of this chapter, but this chapter is excellent. And
Mhm.
and I've always been, my mom lived to 101. She was a big advocate of supplements. And she told me years ago, you better start taking them. And I'd be like, no, Mom. So I think I can hear her from heaven telling me, I told you so. But so I am going to start to look into this. But in the meantime, there's no reason you can't be trying to pinpoint certain foods too that are going to give you some of these things, like we talked about, which is like the walnuts, the red vegetables, or if you're in transition, a red fruit.
Omega-3.
So for the omega-3s, yeah, with the fish oil. So anyway, that's my big recommendation. If you don't have the books, it's fine. Just Google Optavia Element 21 and you'll hear more about it. So, because there's more in-depth studies on this too. So I want to just read you a quick thing about next week. 434. Okay. So we're going to spend the next couple of chapters taking a closer look deep inside where the seeds of health are planted. This is not the physical you've been optimizing through healthy foods and supplements, but the emotional you. This is where this program really, I think, stands out. Says the emotional you, whose ability to deal with stress and find happiness and fulfillment is a key component of the journey to optimal health. So you may have heard us talk about this, I don't know, but Optavia always says this. You need to have a healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. So he has tied those things together. And we're not saying you need to be rich, but it's more basis of handling your money well. And that the emotional side of it, which I feel too is connected to the spiritual side. So taking care of all those things makes a big difference. So we're going to be delving a little bit into that next week, which I think you're going to find interesting. So who is interested to know what supplements they need? Nobody? Okay.
yeah.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So I would like to challenge each of you guys to the next time you're scheduled for to see your physician or your naturopath, that you get some blood work done and just to see what you might need. But in the meantime, hopefully you've learned a little bit about some things you can be adding to actually just get closer to optimal health and ultra health. Sound good?
Sounds great.
And Clark is committed. He's taking his multivitamins now.
Yes, what I get from my own.
He doesn't want my woman's
I
multivitamins.
don't know what that's do. Might be to do strange things to me.
So, any questions or comments or, oh, you guys are
I
on it.
I mean, I'm looking forward to my next blood work. I'm due in October, so that'll give me a good 6 months of this way of eating that I'm doing now. And so I'm trying to do everything right without worrying too much and then see where I stand.
Good.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. That is awesome.
So I just
Yeah.
wanted to give a side note, just to supplement what you were saying, because most of you don't know, but I am diabetic on multiple medications, but I have been able to decrease my medication by 1/3 since I've
Wow,
started
that's
this
good.
plan.
Wow.
And
Yay.
my doctor is thrilled that the numbers are getting much better. I've dropped a whole point in my A1C, which is a huge amount. When you're
Yeah.
thinking of A1C target is 6.0, so a whole point is a huge amount.
Yeah.
And I agree, it's important to keep tabs on your blood work. One of the diabetes medications I was on was actually causing me to go into the hospital. I went into urgent care like 6 or 7 times, and the last time they sent me to the hospital, only to find out it was because it was the medication that was causing irritable bowel syndrome. My bowels would just stop working. So it is really important to stay as little as possible on those medications as possible. I totally agree with that. So I'm thrilled to be on this program.
Yeah. I'm so glad, Lisa. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I have such a heart, and so does I think the coaches on this program,
Yep.
for people to live their best life.
Yep.
I mean, when we see that happening, when we see people going off medications and feeling better and just living an active, feel good life, that is awesome.
I think one of the most impacting phrases tonight, I mean, it was all good, but one of the most impacting phrases tonight was this one. Meds have their use, but creating health isn't one of them. And I think that is not what we hear or understand from the medical field or from the commercials that we hear, on those late night television shows we watch. And but they don't say those things. They give the impression that these things will create health.
Yeah.
And I like that statement that they have their place, but creating health isn't one of them.
Yeah.
So I think that's a powerful takeaway.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we hope you guys like Mondays and that we're going to see you next Monday. And we're going to delve into some really different kinds of things, which I'm excited to study
Right.
on.
And get the word out that we're on Mondays.
Word out that we're on Mondays.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
sure, and anyone's invited to this, okay? You do not have to be an Optavia client.
Mm-mm.
You do not, you can invite anyone interested in health
Yeah.
because what Optavia teaches is valuable, very valuable.
Yeah.
And so if it can help somebody just turn their health around a little bit, that is a bonus.
Yeah.
So,
Very good.
all right.
Very good.
All right, you guys, you have a great week and we'll see you next Monday.
Happy week.
Happy week. Bye.
Bye.